Is it a downgrade or an upgrade for me to go from my trusted A7R III to the new Sony A7 Mark IV camera? Hi, this is David of Tech4Baba, a channel I share my experiences on how technology enhances my time with kids and family as a dad. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please consider subscribing to the channel. In today's video, allow me to share my struggle with downgrading, or should I call upgrading, from the A7R III I've been using for the last 4 years to this new Sony A7 Mark IV. I'll touch on their major differences, what I'm gaining and giving up, and share why I made the decision to upgrade or downgrade at the end. Let's start with the outside and work our way in. First, the body. The A7 Mark IV is about the same size and shape as the A7R III. They weigh about the same too, with the Mark IV just 1 gram heavier. The Mark IV has the updated Sony camera body like the A7S III and A1. It's just a bit larger than the R3. Hard to notice even when they're side by side. But when I pick them up, Mark IV's new grip is beefier and much more comfortable for me to hold. The A7 IV has a flip-out LCD like the A7S III. The hinge has been improved to be firmer, so that's great. The R3's LCD screen only tilts up and down up to about 90 degrees. This is a big gain for me since I often take pictures or videos from strange angles for some reason. Both LCDs supports touch focus. Mark IV adds touch menu navigation. The A7 IV's LCD resolution is a bit lower though, at 1.04 million dots compared to the R3's 1.44 million dots. The updated R3A has an even better LCD with 2.36 million dots. The LCD on the Mark IV is also a little bit smaller vertically, so the text on the bottom is inside the picture, while there's extra room for the text to be under the picture on the R3. Now, bigger and more are better, but I don't see a huge difference between the two in day-to-day use. By the way, the Mark IV has the updated menu system. Still takes some time for me to get used to, like the old menu, but I do think it's a bit easier to navigate. On the new Mark IV body, there are a few more nice changes that I like. Too bad there's no unlock button to push before changing the mode dial, but there is an extra dial underneath the mode dial to quickly switch between photo, video, and S&Q modes. This means PASM modes are also available in the video modes. The camera can now keep settings such as shutter speed, aperture independent between photos and video modes. Even better, it keeps the 3 memory modes separate between them too. So I can now have 9 memory modes, 3 in photos, 3 in videos, and 3 in the S&Q mode. It makes going back and forth between taking pictures and shooting a quick video of the kids, which I do very often, so much easier for me. The record button is swapped with the C1 button, so it's now on the top right below the shutter button. It feels more logical for me to use the same finger to trigger both. The joystick and all the buttons are bigger and easier to press with better feedback. The other improvement is the exposure compensation dial, which has an added lock button, is now a generic dial. It can be customized to other controls such as shutter speed, aperture, or white balance. I'm keeping it as exposure compensation for now, but it's great to have options. Speaking of options, if you'd like to see how I customize the modes and buttons on my A7 Mark IV, leave me a comment below. Rounding out the body ergonomic improvements, the strap holders are no longer loose so they don't make unwanted sound during videos. The side doors covering the connectors on the left are thicker and hinge to the camera much better. And there's the full-size HDMI port, which is new on the Mark IV. Overall, I love all these ergonomic improvements on the Mark IV. Aside from the lower LCD resolution, everything else is an upgrade for me, especially this flip-out screen and the extra dial to quickly switch between photos and video modes. So how about the differences on the inside? Let's start with the biggest downgrade first. Mark IV has a 33 megapixel sensor. Even though this is more than the 24 megapixel sensor on the Mark III and the 12 megapixel sensor on the S3, it's still less than the 42.2 megapixel sensor on the R3 from 4 years ago. The Mark IV also loses R3's pixel shift multi-shooting mode for better color resolution. These shots need to be taken on a tripod and combined together in post. So I really take advantage of it. On the plus side, the Mark IV has a wider ISO range and improved picture profiles like the ones introduced on the S3. There's also a new lossless compressed RAW option for smaller file sizes. With faster image processors inside, Mark IV's autofocus is improved similar to the S3 and A1. It now has 759 face detection points covering 94% of the sensor, instead of 399 points covering only 68% of the sensor on the R3. Mark IV also adds a focus tracking mode, which uses AI to track the focus of a particular object in real time as I reframe in both photo and video modes. Eye autofocus also works in both photo and video modes now with the Mark IV. R3 only supports it in the photo mode. And in addition to humans and animals, Mark IV can now track the eye of a bird. By far, the biggest upgrade on the Mark IV for me is its video capabilities. It now supports high bitrate 10-bit 422 video and S-Cinetone, which give me more room to color adjust or correct my rookie mistakes. It shoots 4K 30p with no line skipping or crop like the R3, so my lenses can go as wide as they are. Too bad the Mark IV still needs a big 1.5x crop for 4K 60p, and there's no 4K 120p at all. At least some 4K slow motion is available when needed. Of course, I can also go down to 1080 Full HD for 120p. Mark IV also adds more video features such as active stabilization boost and breathing compensation on many Sony lenses. There's several other notable features such as focus map, variable shutter, anti-dust function for the sensor, and USB streaming. Last but not least, the price. The A7 Mark IV costs about $2,500 US. That's $300 cheaper than the A7R IIIA, the update with the higher resolution LCD. If I were to use this camera mostly for photos, I would have a harder time choosing between the A7 Mark IV and the R3. In fact, I probably won't upgrade or downgrade to the Mark IV since I already have the R3. However, since I want to have both pictures and more videos with the kids and family when I'm out with this camera, I'm willing to sacrifice some image resolution to gain more 4K video capabilities. I also need all the help I can get with the better focusing system to capture the kids who seem to be constantly moving around. The new ergonomic and control improvements make the Mark IV more comfortable for me to use, and I just love how I can switch between photo and video modes very quickly. In a perfect world, I'd have enough money to get the A1, or have the A7R4 for photos and A7S3 for videos. But I learned early on as an engineer that I had to make trade-offs in design and in life. What's great is any one of these cameras are more than enough for me to capture beautiful memories of the kids and family. There is not a wrong choice. So enough struggling about whether this is an upgrade or a downgrade. On with learning how to take better photos and videos with the wonderful technology available to us in this day and age. As my wise wife constantly reminds me, be sure to appreciate and capture the moment with my eyes and my heart first. Thanks for watching. If you find any part of this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Which camera or cameras are you currently using to capture memories with? I'd love to know in the comment section below. If you want to see more videos on how technology can enhance our life with kids and family, please subscribe and turn on the bell to be notified when I put out my next video. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember to cherish each moment.